Let me explain this to you. Having a religion was never God's idea. Man wanted a religion. God granted them their wish and gave them a religion that would cause them to know how necessary it was for man to get free from religion. Was Saul God's idea? No. Israel wanted a king. God wanted to rule Israel through the prophetic voice. But other nations had kings and they weren't led by prophetic voices. So Israel came and said, we want to be ruled the way other nations are ruled. And God said, okay, if that's what you want, I'll give you Saul. Okay. In mercy, God says, I'll give you David. I'll give you Solomon. Okay. Now, when Saul was selected, Saul was not an evil man. Understand this. When Saul was selected, Saul was not an evil man. Saul's character was deteriorated by the spirit of religion that demanded that we look like something we've already seen, and God's designed us to look like something eye has not seen. So here's the thing. If we're not careful, we'll try to make Christianity, and this is happening in the church right now, Judaism 2.0. And Jesus did not come to start a religion called Christianity. Jesus came to end every religion. Jesus is fundamentally the end to all religion. I do not identify as a Christian. I identify as a son. Listen, when the early church were called Christians, they didn't call themselves that. It was not believers that called them that. It was the enemies of the cross that called them that. Now we can see Christian obviously in a positive term, but this is not a box that you check when you're asked what religion it is that you're a part of. I have chosen to no longer participate in religion. Because Jesus came to end religion and give us union in the place of religion, which is God's original idea all along. Adam and Eve did not have a temple they attended on a weekly basis. They had a face-to-face communion in perfect relationship, a face-to-face communion in perfect relationship with the one who was perfectly present at all times, longing for union and interaction. Listen, that's what Jesus came to give us back. And I'm afraid that what we've done is I'm afraid that we have mixed two systems. Matter of fact, I'm confident that we've mixed two systems and then wondered why there's such a lack of power. There's a lack of power because there's a lack of confidence. And there's a lack of confidence because there's a lack of revelation that we are the righteousness of God in Christ. That's what we're going to talk about today. So let me get back to the end of Galatians. I want to finish this up real quick. This is what's demanded. Expel the slave mother with her son. Let me read the footnote again. You cannot mingle law and grace, for only grace is based upon the promise of new life. This is to show that the two sons are not meant to live together. The son of the slave woman will not be a true heir, for the true heir of the promise is the son of the free woman. The son of the slave woman will not be a true heir, for the true heir of the promise is the son of the free woman. Listen to this. The son of the slave woman will not be a true heir. The son of the slave woman will not be a true heir, for the true heir of the promise is the son of the free woman. If what you and I are producing has as its mother any measure of legalism, it's going to keep you and I from inheriting the promise we were designed to inherit. And I'm going to say this to you, and it does have a mixture of legalism. What I preached for, I've been in the ministry now, how long? 25 years? I've been in the ministry for 25 years. For the first 10 maybe of those 25 years, I preached what could have been exclusively identified as legalism. I wanted to bring grace and but I always had this need to balance it. Anytime I said anything that looked like biblical mercy, I had to reach for a qualifying statement to try to balance it with the legalism we had been introduced to by way of a misunderstanding of what holiness actually is. Because we didn't understand what holiness actually is, and we can get into some of this later, because we didn't understand what sanctification actually really is, we came up with these moralistic definitions of things that are not even foundationally about morals. They're foundationally about relationship, and the outworking of appropriate relationship is morality. Not because you aimed at morality, because you aimed at union, and the union created such a desire in you to be like the one you were joined to that you had no desire to participate in any behavior that was discordant with his nature. But you had to know that nature in order to operate in true biblical holiness, which means to be separate. It means to be other. It means to be different. It means to belong exclusively to one. This is the peripoiesis of the perichoresis. Okay? It's the exclusivity that brings about the circle dance. So let's go a little further in this. The last verse of chapter 4.